This is one that every once in a while I pop in and take a look. When they first went public and their product started to blow up, I was curious to see if they kind of suffer the same fate that you see, like Columbia and I keep I keep wanting to say Facebook, the Facebook look. It's North Face. The same fate that North Face did, where at some point you got to the mall and everyone had the same black North Face on. If you went to Somerset Mall in Michigan, everyone was like a knockoff clone of each other. It was hilarious. Everyone literally looked the same. And then you started to see that their products open up into like more distribution channels, and it felt like product quality went lower, prices got a little cheaper, and I feel like not every brand, many brands suffer that same fate on a long enough timeline, unless you're, Chanel or Hermes, like these kind of brands that just only operate where the air is extremely thin and they stay up there. Now at the bottom though, it's like fads come and go, and North Face was kind of a fad. And as they faded out, there was room in the market for something else to come in, and that was Canada Goose. And what's the other one? They're a little more expensive. I'm not even sure you can call them more exclusive because I'm seeing them more and more. But I think it's Montclair, Montclair. I don't know. I'm probably saying it wrong both ways, knowing me. So it was cool to see Canada Goose open up that store in Chicago. Um, I thought that was a pretty big move to stay away not so much from getting the products at a big box store. It's nice to have your own brand, your own experience. For the price of the products, it demanded it. Probably smart move on their part. What's crazy is the hoodlum in me, where I came from, anyways. Uh, you sit around and see four or five people wearing, standing on a street corner in Chicago, getting ready to like cross Michigan Avenue, and they all got Canada Goose coats on, and you start thinking, man, if I rob the shit out of them, that's like 5 G's right there. um, it's crazy to see that many people just walking down the street wearing $1,000 plus coats, right? And then the Montclair is even more expensive, and obviously you got the designer stuff. You see people wearing Burberry, but you see like these like dense clusters of people wearing the Canada Goose stuff, and a little mind blowing sometimes. You see someone wearing that much stuff just walking down the street, but granted, that's that's where I came from. That's how you think sometimes. But looking at the stock, and yeah, I'm not giving any kind of stock advice in any way, shape, or form. I'm just talking about Canada Goose and some thoughts about the brand and where things are going. If you look at this, 5 years they had a little run there going up to 2019. I feel like that was the peak. This is like the big peak excitement right there. We ran down into COVID territory, so you can't really count that. What I count is like this was going down up until where are we at? Where did COVID hit? Let's just say February, right there, right. So they were already kind of on a downward trend. This is we're bouncing back after the pandemic, and I feel like we're going back to right where this was here, right. Maybe they continue to boom, maybe not. I look at call me crazy. I often look at Google Trends to kind of see where things are. And another 5 year chart, you can see where again around 2019 that was like peak hype of Canada Goose, and then it dropped down quite a bit there. And it's a seasonal, it's winter coats. And then you saw last year. Now the interesting thing, okay, let me point something out. We're looking at this is pandemic time, but it's also time when luxury goods are doing pretty well. There's a lot of stimulus money, a lot of fat unemployment money. There's a lot of money in the system. There still is right now. There's so much money in the system. You wonder why we have overconsumed. It's causing supply chain issues. People aren't working because they got so much money they don't have to work. There's a lot of turmoil in the economy right now. But that Christmas, people's pockets were pretty fat. Upper middle class and above, nothing changed, right? Nothing changed for them. Middle class, things might have changed a little bit. If you were below the middle class, the amount of money that you potentially got last year with unemployment, the fat unemployment plus the stimulus, man, probably the money you've seen in a while. You didn't see that translate over into excitement here in this chart, anyways, for Canada Goose. You'd have to go back and look at their financials to see if they got some kind of boom in that quarter. So I just feel like, you know, when I grew up, we had starter coats and triple fat goose, right? That was the big thing in my neighborhood back in the day. Over a couple years, those things faded out, and something else came into style. Um, it was North Face, and then it was Canada Goose. What's next now is my question. They can probably parlay this brand into more accessories and more clothing, more lifestyle brand. Um, can they be a staple in your wardrobe in the next 10 years? That's right. Ask yourself that question when you're looking at any kind of company. Do you see them having the staying power to be in someone's wardrobe 10 years from now? And if you say no, then you got your answer. If you say yes, you got your answer. I just don't know if we're even looking at Canada Goose like, you know, the Facebook clothing, the North Face clothing, they got so big and so expansive, and from North Face hats to gloves to boots, um, they're always going to have some kind of play, whether in a discount store to Macy's online. You're probably not going anywhere. I think Columbia kind of suffered that same fate. I felt like Columbia was really big and they faded out. North Face popped in and then they faded out. Obviously, Canada Goose, different price point, market's a little smaller, but as the upper class, believe it or not, the upper class has grown. It's almost doubled in size or doubled in size since 1980. Those people have more money to spend. Those are the people that are buying the Canada Goose. Some middle class probably too. Um, Definitely market for them, but not as expansive as, let's say, North Face or Columbia. Um, Staying power, because it's just the price point hits a bigger market. Um, Completely different segment if you think about it. But I just don't know if I'm even. If I went and bought a coat right now, I'm not looking at Canada Goose. Then again, when it's 30 degrees outside, I'm wearing a hoodie and probably, cargo shorts. And I'm outside chopping firewood and shit. Like, I'm not a big fan of having a bunch of winter clothes on unless I'm, snowmobiling or on an ATV or something. Then again, am I gonna be on a snowmobile and ATV with a fucking Canada Goose on? Probably not. Probably have like a Carhartt on or something. I don't know. Anyways, I figured I'd take a look at this one. I've always been interested in this one just to see where it's gonna go, how it plays out as a brand. Do they follow the same trajectory as like North Face? Um, do they become bigger than I thought they would? Do they fall off faster than I thought they would? Would they expand the stores faster? Would they pivot? Would they get into some other product I wasn't thinking of? Um, Anyways, it's one I've been following, back and forth over the years. I'm curious to see. We're at $37 now. I don't know. It's one of those ones that I feel like any stock at any time can always go up or down $5, and you just don't know. Um, and the thing is, if we did know, then we'd always know exactly what to buy and when. It just doesn't go that way. I just feel that um, I don't know. I feel like we were already in a downward trend there. Did we go back to that trend? You know, the money has been pulled from the system, right? They're trying to pump another 3.5 trillion in, right, for the infrastructure, which is like 40% infrastructure and 60% other bullshit. We already got inflation issues going on. We already got too much money sloshing around the system, and we're going to pump another 3.5 trillion in. So that could have some effect on the market, but you got to realize like what you see here, and I look at any stock that way. That is, what would that look like if we didn't pump in the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars? Now that that's ending, what's going to happen? Doesn't mean the whole world falls apart. I just don't know if we keep this same trajectory of going up. If money supply is going to drop, you can't expect everything to go up, right? So, anyways, if you got some thoughts on Canada Goose or Montclair or some other brands that are coming up that I'm not even talking about, drop a comment. I'd be curious to see who do you think the next Canada Goose is going to be, and what do you think Canada Goose's what's the timeline? How long? What's their longevity? How long do you think they'll be around? Is this someone's going to be around forever? Is it 10 years? Is it 20 years? Is it 5 years? I don't know. Drop a comment. Let me know. until then, I'm going to catch you on the next one.